the card and the hat, an expert at the card table tutorial. Of course, in order to do this trick, you're going to need to pick up the expert at the card table. We'll have links for you either up above or down below, but more on that later. Now, you're going to need a hat. I have one here that I like to throw. And of course, you're going to need some cards. So let's go ahead into performance mode. First, we will have a card selected from the center. That's how we do business. The 4 of spades is an excellent card. Here, why don't you hold on to that card for me like that? Yeah, you're going to actually squeeze it. If you were here, you would push down on the 2 of those, and if we had another spectator over here, we would actually have them shuffle that up. So we have an empty hat. Now, first spectator after they shuffled would hold the deck out for the spectator number 2, put the card in, and then spectator number 2 would shuffle up the cards. Good job. Now, of course, if you're a fan of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, we're actually going to pixelate that card up into the air, and we're going to turn it into little TV particles, and then it's going to come down here to provide a minor miracle for you. Spectator 1 or 2 could lift up the hat and find that the card is now under the hat. Ha-cha. Now, before we get into the tutorial, why don't we go ahead and jump back over into the talking head. Because I want to talk to you about Tubebuddy once again today, because Tubebuddy is something that we're using every single day on the channel. Titles, thumbnails, SEO optimization. It's making it better for me, which makes it better for you. So, of course, if you want to get started into YouTube, or if you're already using YouTube and you're not using Tubebuddy, let's get you started. You can download the link below or check it out up above here today. It's free. You can start completely free, and it still helps out the channel. If you download it, I get credit. If you buy a subscription, you get even more goodies, and I may earn commission on that. But we want you to do better. We want you to make better videos, and Tubebuddy really helps you do that. So let's go ahead and jump back into tutorial mode. Of course, we have the expert at the card table here for subliminal messaging. For the purposes of, this is where the trick came from. We have the mouse over here for the purposes of your hand. We have the hat because, well, the hat, and the cards because the cards. Notice how I set something down and then move it. It's all a part of the aesthetic and gag of the trick, right? Because you want them to catch the eye, you want to see the movement, and it creates this, like, you know, it creates movement and everything. So first and foremost, tutorial number 1 is going to be the one that is from the book. And then tutorial number 2 is going to be my variation that I just performed. And then we're going to go into talking about why I did the variations and what I would do differently from the book and why I do it differently. So first and foremost, having a card selected. Just like any great card trick, we're going to go with the 3 of spades. Now, if you were to hold on to the 3 of spades for me, yeah, you actually have to compress it a little bit. We're going to have spectator number 1 over here shuffle up the cards. Flash, but you already know where this is going anyway, because we're not performing it. We're just showing you this trick. So they shuffle the cards here. They have spectator number 2 put it into here. Then spectator number 2 will shuffle. So cards are shuffled, cards gone. You can do whatever effect you want to do to make the card disappear into the deck. Then you can have one of the spectators, maybe the one that doesn't have the deck, pick up the hat, and the card is now under the hat. So let's slow that down for you. First move. Do whatever you need to do to get a card chosen. Second move is a top change. Now the way that I just did it here is I show you the card in the front, then I come to the back, placing the card onto the deck as I reach for the mouse. Like so. Now that effectively changes the top of the card, the top card, to the second card. Ha-cha. Now what I do is, in demonstration of showing them, the spectator, how they're going to compress their hands together so they don't get any funny notions of looking at the cards, I then, almost dropped the deck on the floor, I then hand the deck over. So I'm doing 2 different moves there. I'm doing a top palm, which allows me to with my pinky, grab the edge of this card, and this is the exposed view. So that's in palm. But at the same time, I'm turning and twisting my hand so that it's up in the hand like this, but I'm covering the motion by handing this to the spectator and then reaching for the hat. Now you want to get into the hat so that the wall of the hat potentially covers the fingers, because that's where you're going to expose the card the most. Now as you drop that into the hat, keep in mind you want to keep everything flat because you just see me expose it, but the card is in the hat already. As you slide your hand out, now you've already got the card loaded. Now you can do whatever you want to do. Now here, in terms of getting this over to here and then them shuffling and doing all that and then exposing it. So those are the moves. The moves for the first one is a top change and then a top palm. Okay, now let's talk about what I do. First and foremost, I like to do a double. In this case, I do the double from the center, as you can see. Double. Showing this, because I really like the aesthetic, it's appealing, right? And it effectively does the nice little hidden move for you, which allows you to hand them an insignificant, a card that is not theirs, right? So when they're squeezing that over here, now we still kind of have to do the top palm. And so everything else is really the same from this point on. So really the only thing I change from this is the top change. And everything else is still pretty good. So that is trick number 2, tutorial number 2, my version of it. And so now let's talk about why I do it a little bit differently. Here's why. When you perform this on camera, this isn't a bad way to go as you reach for the mouth. That's not a bad way to go. And you could probably pull that off because you're providing yourself cover. You're sliding this down in order to grab the mouse. And it's not terrible. But it's still very difficult to get away with this move when you're freeze frame, when you've got the camera on you. You got to really create some really good misdirection. So by isolating that and changing it to something that is a self-worker, this allows me to already apply the physics that I need, which is that I need to switch the card and maintain the other card on the top of the deck. Done. So that's why I keep everything else the same. Now that doesn't mean that I would stick with the top palm, because there are other ways to do that, especially if you wanted to keep it offbeat here. What you could do, if you wanted to isolate the shuffle, you could control it to the bottom, then hand out the cards. We did this for the last trick that we did the tutorial on, which was for the card through silk, and keeping with the same idea, you would just put it in the lateral palm here, and the hat's already on the table. So when you come up to put it into the hat, there's pretty good coverage there. There's exposure here at the bottom, but especially if you've already handed this over to them, and then you reach your hand in, they might see the flash. So that's not going to work out as much. So that's why I considered that as an option, but I think the top palm is still going to work best here, or even maybe the slip palm, which gets the card into this hand here, because even this motion is still better than the lateral one. So, and I do apologize if this isn't the lateral one and this one is, mixing up the words, but either way, if you can get it into this mode, then that's fine. That way you have a versatility for the card. And then final note on that is you just want to make sure that you don't over crimp it for this, because then when you pick the hat up, you'll see a card that's bent in half. You don't really want that. So, in conclusion, we got to talk about our affiliate links. Once again, we're going to mention Tubebuddy. You can check out the link above here or down below. They're going to get started real quick and easy. Also, I'd recommend getting keywords everywhere and combining these two things to make your videos even better. Hacha. Then we're going to go back down into this view so you can see what we've got going on here. These are the things you need for this trick right here. You need a deck of cards, you need a hat, and you need the expert at the card table. Or you could just check out this video. Either one is fine, but you will find the links either way up above here for Amazon or down below in the description. So, thank you everybody. Remember, stay positive, stay active, and stay awesome. And don't forget to subscribe because it really does help out the channel. And don't forget the video that's just for you over here. And of course, over here is the Tubebuddy link for you as well. But that one is a sale. There's a sale going on right now, so check it out. Okay, bye.